Hello, I'm Ben Ward. This is my commentary for an interactive comic I made called Memeify McCree. It was for a game jam for the forums for the Idle Thumbs podcast. As with the other two interactive comics I made, which I've also done commentaries for, this was made in an engine called Quine, which was in alpha development at the time of me making this, and I don't think it's got any further. So the game's a bit janky, partly because the engine wasn't fully fleshed out by any means, partly because my art skills are not great, partly because it's a game jam, and partly because I was making it in paint.net instead of something like Clip Studio Paint or Paint Shop or Photoshop or anything like that. So I did have a Wacom tablet, but using that tablet in paint.net, it couldn't tell my pen intensity or whatever, so I couldn't get any kind of thickness and thinness of line. I couldn't get any nice looking lines going, basically. Once I did get into Clip Studio Paint and that setting was there, my art got better tenfold, even though it's still not very good, but I certainly could have done a much better job than I did here. So we start off, and here's a reference to those Idle Thumbs forums, and this is just like a typical internet troll. This whole game basically is me being a grumpy old man complaining about how people only ever use memes and emojis to communicate these days rather than actually typing out words, and as a consequence I barely understand what half the people on the internet are trying to say these days, because they'll just post some meme at me and I'll be like, well, that conversation over, because I have no idea what you're trying to say to me. So this person is choosing what meme to troll someone with, and this is in a nightmarish situation where the Idle Thumbs forums have a meme drop down menu. The choices that the player can click on are highlighted in pink. My concept here is that I've made it a menu for them, so they are clicking on the menu just as the character would in the comic. Hopefully it's tutorializing the interactive comic a little bit. Not that it needs that much, but just to get them clicking on that one thing, and then you get some random crappy Sadkianu meme. I wanted this to be a little bit cinematic, evoke a bad hacker movie where it just kind of suddenly zooms into the screen, kind of post-Matrix kind of thing. It zooms into the pixels and then you see that they're coming through the pipes. The title of this game is A Pretty Pipe Dream, or Memeify McCree, or A Chill Hell, because the game jam entries for the Idle Thumbs game jam would all be named after episode titles, and I came in right at the end of the game jam, I think, or kind of quite late on in the process, and so someone suggested I just take the latest 3 episode titles, which had all come out after everybody had picked their titles. So I just picked the most recent 3 and used all of them. And so then I looked at them and thought, what story can I make out of this? So Memeify McCree obviously gave me the idea of someone who memes for a living or is very much into memes. And then Pretty Pipe Dream worked with that because of the meme quote about the internet being a series of pipes. I think some American politician said that, trying to explain what the internet is and revealing their own ignorance in the process by calling it a series of pipes. It might even have been W. I think it was someone in that era, but I can't remember. Yeah, so you zoom in through the pixels, you see that they're all coming through a series of pipes, and they're very Mario-esque pipes, and you can see the little red valve on there, Valve software reference. So I'm trying to keep it cinematic, so it's all in widescreen, no dialogue. These titles are these were very fashionable in cinema at this time. Big, flat, bam, bam, bam titles. This was the trendy thing at the time, so I was trying to be all trendy. And A Chill Hell was the third episode title, so that suggested to me the idea of this person, McCree, who is employed to make memes, and he's working in a Google style trendy workplace where there's ball pits and all this kind of crap, and he hates it basically. It's super chill, bro. He's stuck in this nightmare. Here he is in his chill hell, and they've all got like their nice branded tablets and all this kind of stuff, and they're all riding around on scooters. And so again, we give the player 3 things to click on, again, just like nice and easy, get them in. So you've got Jeff Goldblum, a cat, and Bigfoot as all being kind of typical internet meme things. It being a trendy workplace, they've got a big cereal bar. I've drawn them all as bros in vest tops and muscly bros. They're all probably on steroids. This was around the time of, I think it was 22 Jump Street made this vest very voguey that said suns out, guns out. So I changed that to teams out, memes out, which doesn't really make sense, but it has the word meme in it. And so in the background you can see the starting of the plot, which is that people are starting to communicate purely through emojis. So you've got a series of emojis there suggesting that it is people will be happy eating boxes of cereal. So this guy shows up and he's got an emoji on his vest, which you will see does the classic cartoon thing of changing every time you see him in a different panel. The cereal boxes have a bunch of Easter eggs on them from left to right. Chocolate frosted sugar bombs is Calvin and Hobbes. Burnzo's is Simpsons. Splurge, I think, is Broken Age. Tasty Wheat or something like that is The Matrix. Powdered Toast is Ren and Stimpy. Admiral Crunch, I can't remember if that's a pop culture reference or it's just it's something to do with that Captain Crunch whistle that Dan Aykroyd's character in Sneakers talked about, how you could hack phones with this whistle that came with the Captain Crunch cereal or something like that. I'm not sure, maybe that's what I was doing. And finally, Easter eggs spot them all. So you've got 4 choices here. If you pick any one of those first top 3, then you just go to do a different activity. It doesn't really make a difference, and quit this chill howl gets you out into the world. Let's pick mini golf. That frog, that was some kind of meme. I can't even remember what it was now. I think I just googled memes and found that one, and it looked quite nice, so I just traced over it. There's the guy with his emoji vest has changed to a golf ball now. He's saying, I'm going to take you to see the alpha, so it's all kind of like this alpha male bro bullshit. This is a reference to Grim Fandango here. The layout and poses and everything is where Manny and Domino have gone to see their boss, and Domino's looking all smug. So the guy with the vest apparently is called the Emoji Kid, which is kind of cowboyish name to match Memeify McCree. It all works quite nicely because it's all quite, toxic masculinity and stereotypically masculine, settings and all this kind of thing, which I'm throwing in there as well at the same time. Language Killer Lane also kind of sounds cowboyish, and you can see from the emojis there's the alpha, so he's got an alpha dog emoji, and this guy's got a cross through a letter, and we get the plot here. Yeah, so it's about the infantilization of the internet as well. I'll kind of bring that in because it drives me nuts when someone will just you can be in the most intelligent highbrow of forums on the internet, and as soon as someone posts a picture of a cat, everyone's like, fluffy boy, meow meow. Basically everyone just acts like they're 4 when you start throwing out these cat pictures, so I put that in there as well. Easily controlled is kind of a Orwellian 1984 removal of language. I don't seriously think that's what's happening with emoji on the internet, but it fits in to the story. Here we go. So these guys have their kind of form of doublespeak. This is emoji speak, or newspeak I should say, or whatever it was. I can't remember. I haven't read 1984 since I was doing my GCSEs, so whatever. So the one on the left is saying, what do you think, bro? And Language Killer is saying, do you want to join the group of bros and stamp on the world with our feet, 1984 style? And I don't know what that second to last emoji is, a photo of a tree. So is that for Utopia or something, like a Brave New World or something? No idea. So you've got the 2 choices, which is either you pause to think for a while, you're thinking about it worriedly, but then you say yes and you feel sick, but you've said yes to it. Or you can just angrily say no and you accidentally talk in emojis, but then you go back to language and say no. So if you say that, you click on the window and you get a bit of an action scene. You've got 3 choices of defeating their scheme. None of them work. If you unveil it before the entire internet, no one can be bothered to read anymore, so it's kind of like the end of the howling or whatever, like everybody's just desensitized, and someone posts emojis of burning books. They're just like, we don't want words anymore. And meanwhile, the meme that you made earlier is trending. I can't remember if I was clever enough to actually branch it so that whatever you picked at the start goes on to that one, but it may just be a coincidence and I just picked that one. And then you got kind of a Orwellian ending where you weren't able to stop the domination of the bros. So here's a different one you could have had, which is a cheeseburger cat. And basically these are all geared around being reactions to what people are saying. And also you might notice that the post count is a lost reference for 8/15/23, and this person, he has that awful ugly smiley face avatar that so many people have and is just horrendous, and also has a very high post count because obviously he's one of these people on the internet who really cares about their post counts and their upvotes and their likes and their karma and all this kind, the gamified discussion of the internet, which doesn't actually mean anything. You can also report it to the president, And again, dark ending. Look at the amazing, deeply referenced White House Oval Office pictures that I've done. Clearly went and downloaded an image and just drew over it hastily. There's the president, and he is a collection of memes. He is Rick Astley, but his name is Leroy Jenkins, and he is talking in emoji, and he's like, "You're dead, bro." And the final option is sabotaging their piping system. And so this is kind of a parody of awful mini-games in adventure games. This is something that we took the piss out of in Lair of the Clockwork God as well. So just like this infuriating, just click on all the valves until you're playing one kind of game, and then suddenly it just goes, here's a mini game puzzle where you have to click on pipes. This is impossible. You just keep on clicking on pipes until you give up. Click on valves rather. Fuck it. Now, if you say yes to them in the office, it's very similar ending, but you're on those dystopian floaty vid screens as well, but it's essentially the same picture. Another thing you can do earlier on is, instead of go for golfing or whatever, you can say quit this chill hell, and you walk out, and then you can see the sign on the outside of the building a little clearer. So it's just their computers sending stuff through pipes to other computers. So I guess maybe that building is just the internet, in fact. So you work in the meme department of the internet. And then you come to DeviantArt. I think the basic point I was making here is that wherever you go on the internet, it's all the same old crap. I don't really believe this, but that's kind of the joke here, is that even if you go to the supposedly deviant place, they're all just painting memes and, doing fan art of corporate IP and all this kind of stuff. So, they're all dressed up like cyberpunk hackers, but as soon as you want to do something nice, they're just like, no one's interested in just nice art, which isn't exactly true, but it kind of bears out if you're on Twitter or forum, whatever, and you post, not me, because my art's crap, so that's why people don't like my art, but someone could post the most beautiful piece of art, but if someone then comes along and has a drawing of Mario taking a shit on Master Chief or whatever the fuck, that will get 10 times as many likes. And again, this is just me being a grumpy old man. It's not completely true and everything, but it's just, these are my frustrations at what happens sometimes on the internet coming out. One of the options is Idle Thumbs /art, which is just, lots of slash fic and stuff on the internet, which, again, I don't actually have any problem with. Again, it is just it's just reappropriation. It's just it's the whole thing of people, instead of writing original stories, they write fan fiction, and instead of making original video games, they'll make total overhaul mods of video games that are bound to get shut down by lawyers, as soon as they get anywhere with them. And it's just, you just think, why don't you just change the names or something, just make something vaguely original rather than... Again, I don't want to criticise people because they're being creative and they're making themselves happy and all this, but it does sometimes just get a little... In my more grumpy man moments, I will just think, oh man, just write something new. This is a grumpy old man comic. I'm kind of knowingly here, all these dystopian endings are obviously very silly and over the top, and just saying if people only make fan art, then we're going to destroy the world, which obviously is silly, and I'm just kind of poking fun at myself for being so grumpy about something that doesn't really matter. I can't even remember what the Sonic the Hedgehog ghosty is. I guess I just obscured it from view. I'll look at the Quantum Leap Back to the Future mashup, which I actually genuinely would like at some point to commission some art of, because that would be such an amazing crossover episode of Dr. Sam Beckett jumping into Martin McFly's body halfway through a Back to the Future time travel escapade, and that would be amazing. So I clearly don't mean all this stuff sincerely, because I think this would be awesome. That is it. There are a few other options which you can go and click through if you want. Go and have a play through the game yourself, but you've probably seen about 80 to 90% of it here. And yeah, I was happy with this one. This is the thing that I point people to on my itch.io page. It's the one thing that's kind of complete, and I think it has some funny ideas and stuff. Outside of my work with sci-fi games, just stuff that I've just made on my own and put up on my own. I think this is the thing that I show people. Honestly, I'm often tempted now that I've got Clip Paint Studio, I sometimes think to myself it would be quite nice to go back and just do all this art again really nicely, or as nice as I can make it now. But I think that is the way of George Lucas and the special editions. Also, this is all 6 or 7 years ago now, and I probably can't even remember how to work Quine or anything, so I I think it's just going to have to sit there, and I'll just have to hope that there's not some kind of Flash player type obsolescence that happens that means that this disappears forever. Yeah, so I'm happy with it. It's funny. It's got some nice art there. I like the flow of it and the storytelling and everything. So I was happy with this one. And then I never made another one again. Thank you for listening to this developer commentary, and I'm sorry that it went on for so long and it was so boring. Bye.